Before I begin, I'd like to thank all of you for your support.
We're gonna do this. Yeah? Oh my God.
Welcome to the 14th Annual Visual Effects Society Awards, the year's very best visual effects work in film, broadcast, animation, commercials, real-time projects, and special venue projects will be honored tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director of the Visual Effects Society, Eric Roth.
Hello and welcome to the 14th Annual VES Awards. Before we get started though, I want to encourage anyone who would like to be tweeting tonight to please do so. Follow us at VFX Society and use hashtag VES Awards. Tonight, we will honor the best of the best. We will honor and celebrate. We honor the best visual effects work from around the world, and we will celebrate the artistry that our craft has to offer. I'd say that this year has been one of the buzziest years you've ever seen. And one of the top buzzes that you've all been hearing about is virtual reality. But without using any special goggles or headsets, just turn in any direction and you will see the most amazing artists anywhere on the planet. And part of that amazing talent is the VES Awards Committee, which once again worked throughout the year on a voluntary basis, mind you, to bring you all the incredible artistry and imagery you're about to see tonight. And so keep that in mind. And another word that people have been buzzing about recently is diversity. For VES, diversity means looking at the industry from a global perspective. Accordingly, VES not only held a nomination event here in Hollywood, we also held them in 8 other cities around the globe. And to that end, absolutely, to that end, I'd like to thank the following facilities for donating their time and their services to VES. Deluxe Australia for our Australia section, Digital Core in the Bay Area, Molyneux in London, Technicolor in Montreal, The Mill in New York, Weta Digital in New Zealand, Spin VFX in Toronto, and of course, our really, really, really good friends, Photochem right here in Burbank, who have been amazing partners for us for the last number of years. Simply put, visual effects is now the center of the entertainment universe. How else, besides visual effects, can you actually go home again the way we did this past year? For instance, the visual effects team behind The Walk, brought the World Trade Center back to life once more. The team behind Furious 7 figured out how to complete Paul Walker's performance. The team behind Inside Out figured out how to bring us back to the deep recesses of our childhoods. And finally, as you all know, Star Wars brought the Millennium Falcon back so that not only could Han Solo and Chewie go back home, but all the rest of us as well. The funny thing, though, is that other than the big blockbusters, you don't really see the work, because when done right, the best work is invisible. Put another way, as you mostly know, the writer Gertrude Stein once said about Oakland, there's no there. Well, with visual effects, there's often so much there, but you don't see it, that you often don't know which that's there is truly there. That's visual effects. I worked on that one a long time, I gotta tell you. In addition to honoring all the great work from the past year, we will also honor two very special people later in the evening. We will honor someone who has been a visual futurist and a conceptual artist, and he's been reimagining the world for many decades now. He's Sid Mead, tonight's recipient of the VES Visionary Award. We will also honor someone who is one of the most preeminent filmmaker, producer, directors of our time. He has redefined storytelling on an absolutely epic scale, and there is simply nothing he can't do. He's Sir Ridley Thomas, tonight's recipient of the VES Lifetime Achievement Award. What did I say? Sir Ridley Scott, what did I say? That's the British actor? Oh my goodness. No! Oh my goodness. Sir Ridley is telling me it's okay, but I said Sir Ridley Thomas? And I know who that actor is from the 1960s, so there you go. As you can see, we're now completely off script. So, just like every year, I have a lot of people to thank for all they have done for us. I'd like to start first with the folks at SohoNet and Shotgun for all their help this past year. Everyone at Autodesk for their continued friendship, and the sponsorship of the Student Award. Our event consultants, Liquid Theory, Michael Teta Associates, and Naomi Goldman of NLG Communications, the entire VES office staff, and most especially Colleen Kelly, Nancy Ward, and Brent Armstrong. The VES Awards Committee, I'd especially like to thank our chair, Bob Coleman, our co-chairs, Chuck Finance and Mike Romey, and give a special nod to Lopsy Schwartz. Will everyone from the Awards Committee please stand up? Awards Committee, there you go. And although they're both out of town working on projects now, I also need to thank the indefatigable Kim Lavery for her tireless efforts all year round. And lastly, I need to thank and recognize my co-executive producer, the guy whose hand is involved in every single thing here tonight. That's, of course, Mr. Jeff Oken. That said, talking about things that have had buzz, probably the loudest buzz all year long has been about Donald Trump. So what can I say about the Donald that hasn't already been said and doesn't already have a built-in punchline? With that in mind, I'd like to now introduce our host. Someone who's actually funnier than Trump, and intentionally so. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce a true friend of VES. He's an award-winning actor, comedian, and author, and he's Patton Oswalt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Sir Eli Roth, coming out here and getting us off. Wow, how do you follow the electric excitement of his yearly, I tell them every time, don't let him open. You cannot have John Denver following Black Sabbath. It doesn't work. My God. He's so happy because he's the new spokesman for Sominex, ladies and gentlemen. Sominex. Get it? Drink up, you nerds. Let's go. It's gonna be a long night. We still have 50 more awards to give out to Gravity from a couple years ago. Can we bring the dumpster out here on stage? I'm your host, Imperator Pudgiosa. Take a look. I'm taking you through this evening. This is a really amazing show. I mean, this whole year of movie, this 2015 has been crazy in terms of special effects and the Revenant, for God's sake, the Revenant with Andy Serkis playing Leonardo DiCaprio fighting a real bear. How did he pull that off? It looked like Leo. It was amazing. That guy is on another level. Also, straight from their win at this year's AVN Awards, Anomalisa, ladies and gentlemen. Anomalisa, that's right. Best animated pussy eating since the Aristocats. That's right. Yeah. I said pussy eating. Relax, people. Mad Max Fury Road. Oh my God. Okay, first off, I love the fact that a 70-year-old Australian just handed every young action director their asses, basically. That's right there. That's awesome. Like, hey, we need to catch up with the nearsighted 70-year-old Australian dude out in the desert. Guy's incredible. It's an amazing movie about this horrible desert wasteland of violence and misogyny and just patriarchy controlling women. And again, an amazing documentary about life in 2015. I was like, whoa, I can't believe. Is that a little too much on the head right there? Someone tell Salon.com. The Martian. I know that The Martian, okay, yes. First off, everybody got upset that the Golden Globes gave Martian Best Comedy. The Martian is not a comedy. That is a fantasy about being off of this planet where Ted Cruz just won Iowa. My God, I want to live on Mars and eat potatoes. You don't need to send a rescue mission. Just get me up there. I'm fine. And San Andreas is nominated tonight. The Rock, San Andreas, which San Andreas takes place in LA. You don't need to have a giant earthquake be a disaster. You could just make it about it's drizzling out. People freak out the same level. He could just be on the phone. I will find you. I will come to get you. But there's water on my windshield. Don't look at it. Stay calm. And Star Wars. All right, listen. I've had a lot of harsh things to say about the prequels. I'm on record about them. But here's the miracle that J.J. Abrams pulled off. This is how amazing, because when Star Wars came out in 1977, that movie was like your awesome party friend that always had amazing Coke and hookers, and you would just get together with him, and the whole weekend went by in a blur, and then he'd go away for a few years, comes back in 1979 with even better Coke and even crazier hookers. Like, oh, this is amazing. And then he comes back in the early 80s. Now he's got that crazy 80s Coke and hookers with spiked gelled haircuts, and it's just amazing. And then he disappears for 2 decades. Oh, where's my friend with the good drugs and the hookers? And then you run into him again, and now he's sobered up, and he's really into like religion and government, and you're like, hey man, let's do some of that coke. He goes, well, let me explain to you where the coke comes from. It's actually kind of really interesting how they grow it, and then there's these different trade agreements. You're like, no, let's just do the coke, dude. You're like, no, you actually need to find out, like, it's interesting how, let's get into these hookers' backstories. You're like, I don't really want to. And then his nephew comes along. His nephew has amazing weed and it's just fun again. You're like, oh, no, okay, good. We're in good hands now. He gave his nephew the coke. We're good. All right, So thank you, J.J. Abrams, for the great coke and hookers. That's what I'm saying. Cinematically, my God. Now look, me and my writers, who are all huge nerds, were backstage trying to write stuff about Sid Mead and Ridley Scott. So before I say what I'm gonna say, and I don't know if this joke's gonna work, but you guys can fix it in post, can't you? Sure. Having Ridley Scott, if that's your name, and I don't know, Ridley Scott, yeah, wink. And Sid Mead here, for me, is a big deal. That is a big deal for me, and should be for all. I mean, those guys, it's one thing to change the look of films, which that in itself is hard to do, and they changed everything in terms of how movies looked and were designed. All the stuff they did, especially in Blade Runner, and it bled over into society. We all are trying to live in this cool Sid Mead designed world. And by the way, I got drunk at Sid Mead's bar at the Aventi in New York. He designed the bar at the Aventi Hotel. It was amazing. Not as fun as Ray Harryhausen's Roadhouse in Texas that he designed. You know, Cyclops isn't bringing you vodka, but it's still fun. But we are 3 years away from the world in Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. And I just feel like if we all really come together, we can make that world happen. You know, I'm just holding out hope. We really can. You gave us a dream, we're going for it, okay? Try to make it happen. Yeah, that went right in the shitter. All right, it didn't really work that well. So, yeah, I do think that there is a diversity problem in our industry, and way more than other aspects of it, this award show really, I think, addresses and embraces diversity, because look around the room, we have white shut-ins who are abused by their producers, we have black shut-ins that are abused by their producers, Asian, female, gay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are as long as you're being screamed at and told to get it in a week earlier. That's what the VES Awards is about, diversity. Total diversity. And coming from a film buff like me, as goofy as I'm gonna be this evening, and there's scotch backstage, and it's gonna get even goofier, you guys really mean I love the stuff that you guys do. I love the films you make. I love the way you make films better. It means a lot to me. And this night is about you guys. You deserve a night like this. You deserve accolades like this. So just thank you. Thank you all so much for what you do. I mean, this is your night. And yes, seriously, no, seriously, give me your... So again, you guys are wizards, you're artisans, you're magicians, and I mean that. And when you win, keep your remarks to 30 seconds or we'll cut your mic, okay? Seriously. Our first presenter, I got to work with him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he ran over my stunt double during a football game. Because if he had run over me for real, I wouldn't be up here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the hilarious and the amazing Terry Crews. Ladies and gentlemen.
Patton Oswalt! The great Patton Oswalt! Man, coke and hookers, that was funny. I am honored to be here tonight. I owe a lot to the visual effects community. People outside Hollywood don't know this, but I began my career as a visual effect. Yeah, it's true. Nobody looks this amazing who wasn't designed by professionals. Here are the nominees for Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Photoreal Episode.
Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Photoreal Episode. Marvel's Daredevil, Speak of the Devil. Brian Godwin, David Van Dyke, Carl Coiner, Julie Long, Johan Kuntz. Black Sails 18. Eric Henry, Anna Marie Griggs, Kevin Rafferty, Aladino DeBert, Paul Stevenson. Vikings, To the Gates, Dominic Remain, Bill Halliday, Paul Wishart, Ovidiu Sinazan, Paul Byrne. Agent Carter, Now Is Not the End. Sheena Dougal, A.D. Manis, Richard Bluff, Jay Metha, Kenneth C. Clark. Penny Dreadful and They Were Enemies. James Cooper, Bill Halliday, Sarah McMurdo, Mylene Lee.
Wow. And the award goes to Vikings, To the Gates, Dominic Remain, Bill Halliday, Paul Wishart, Ovidiu Sinazan, and Paul Byrne.
Wow. We would like to thank the Visual Effects Society and its members for this incredible honor. Most importantly, we'd like to thank the artists and the crew at Mr. X who have time and again produced outstanding work. I would like to personally thank Dennis Berardi for giving me the opportunity to supervise this show. A big thank you to the crew in Ireland, who we feel are some of the best we've worked with. We'd also like to thank Take 5, History Channel, and MGM for giving us an enormous amount of creative freedom, and thank you.
A supporting effect should look incredible and yet disappear into the rest of the scene. There's a real art to having an audience not notice your work. These are the nominees whose work stood out by not standing out. Here are the nominees for Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Photoreal Feature.
Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Photoreal Feature. Bridge of Spies, Sven Martin, Jennifer Meislone, Charlie Noble, Sean Stranks, Gerd Nefzer. In the Heart of the Sea, Jody Johnson, Leslie Lerman, Sean Stranks, Brian Hirota, Mark Holt. The Revenant, Rich McBride, Ivy Agrigan, Jason Smith, Nicholas Chevalier, Cameron Waldbauer. The Walk, Kevin Bailey, Camille Salucci, Victor Mueller, Sebastian Moreau.
Hey, don't go falling!
Everest, Dadia Narson, Roma O'Connor, Mathesius Janarson, Glenn Pratt, Richard Vandenberg.
the award goes to The Revenant, Rich McBride, Ivy Agregan, Jason Smith, Nicholas Chevalier, Cameron Waldbauer.
Thank you so much to the Visual Effects Society. We are very honored to get this recognition, or any recognition at all. To the filmmakers, we really appreciate Alejandro and Chivo pushing the work. It made all the difference, and we hope that one day they will embrace wholeheartedly what they're doing and the way they're telling stories. I'd like to thank all of the artists and the on-set crew. It was amazing to suffer on set with all of you in the cold. But to all of the vendors, ILM family, ILM Vancouver, San Francisco, the Revenant visual effects team, thank you so much. Cinesite, MPC, Greenlight, One of Us, Soho, Image Engine, Steadfast, Technicolor Visual Effects, so many artists. Thank you so much. It's a real honor. Thank you very much. Jamie Murphy, I love you. Thank you for your support.
Coming up next, Erica Christensen, and later, special awards for Ridley Scott, Sid Mead, and ILM's 40th anniversary.
I figured out what went wrong with the Ridley Scott joke. Hang on. Okay, so our next presenter, you will be able to see her in Anything for Love on the Hallmark Channel, and later this year, Confirmation on HBO. Please welcome an amazing actress, Miss Erica Christensen.
Hello. He said something nice about me. A giant monster head, a floating sky city, a fiery explosion. What do these things have in common? Nothing. Without some good compositing work. So, when the pros get a hold of these disparate elements, we've got one hell of a scene. Commercials, features, and episodics all need someone to bring it together. And here are the nominees for Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Episode.
Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Episode. Vikings to the Gates. Ovidiu Sinazan. Olivia Yap. Greg Lamar. Meng Angel Lee. Game of Thrones Hardhome. Eduardo Diaz, Guillermo Orbe, Oscar Pereira, Immaculada Nadella. Game of Thrones Drogon Lair. Travis Nobles, Mark Spindler, Max Reeves, Nadja Ding. Game of Thrones Drogon Arena. Michael Crane, Travis Nelson, Joe Salazar, Beverly Bernacki.
So cool. And the award goes to Game of Thrones Hardhome. Eduardo Diaz, Guillermo Orbe, Oscar Pereira, Immaculada Nadella. Unfortunately, the Game of Thrones team could not be here this evening, and I will accept the award on their behalf. Thank you. You're here! Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
love you.
Hi. Thank you. I'm actually representing Eduardo and the team who couldn't make the trip from Madrid because they're busy actually working on season 6 of Game of Thrones for next year. So, on their behalf, thank you to all the members of the Visual Effects Society for their support. And thank you, guys at HBO, Steve, Joe, Holly, for this constant source of daily joy that the Game of Thrones has been for us at El Ranchito. Thank you very much, everybody.
Awesome. And now, the nominees for Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Commercial.
Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Commercial. Game of War Rooftop Alliance. Becky Porter, Jeannie Hoon, Patrick Heenan, Don Kim. SSE Pier. Gary Driver, Greg Spencer, Grant Connor. Halo 5, The Hunt Begins. Ian Holland, Brian Delmonico, Brandon Nelson, Nicholas Kim. Under Armour Rule Yourself. Gavin Welsman, Nathan Kane, Michael Smith, Ilya Mokhtarizada.
And the award goes to SSE Pier. Gary Driver, Greg Spencer, Grant Connor.
Hello, I'm representing these three amazing artists. But thank you very much, Visual Effects Society, and thank you very much to our client, Adam and Eve, who've made the process really nice, actually. And it's enabled us to do some very good work. And thank you to our director, Frederick Pranchon, and all the team. Brilliant, thank you.
And the final award in compositing, the nominees for Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Feature.
Outstanding Compositing in a Photoreal Feature. Mad Max Fury Road. Lindsay Adams, Matthew Wynn, Chris Davies, Phil Outen. Tomorrowland. Francois Lambert, Jean Lapointe, Peter Demarest, Connie Fowler. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Jay Cooper, Marion Mavrovic, Jean Lapointe, Alex Bricard. The Revenant Bear Attack. Donnie Roush, Alan Travis, Charles Lay, T.C. Harrison. San Andreas, Los Angeles Destruction. Sandro Blattner, Hamish Schumacher, Nicholas Kim, Mario Rokitsky.
And the award goes to The Revenant, Bear Attack, Donnie Roush, Alan Travis, Charles Lye, T.C. Harrison.
Come a little closer. Why don't you come a little closer? There's something I could tell you.
Thank you. Wrote some stuff down. Thank you, and congratulations to all the nominees. The work completed on The Bear Attack was truly a group effort. Nearly every compositor on the film at ILM worked on the shot at some point or another. The film also had some of the most challenging paint and roto ever attempted on a film. And we just simply couldn't do it without a tremendous amount of devotion to the work. We would like to thank the VES, Industrial Light and Magic, Alejandro Inarritu, Rich McBride, Jason Smith, Jill Brooks, Ryan Whitaker, Daniel Cavey, and Claudia Lee. In addition, I would personally like to thank God, and we would also like to thank our families and friends for their support.
Still to come, Michael Pena, Portia Davide, plus Ridley Scott, and Sid Mead, and 40 years of ILM.
Three scotches in. Okay, our next presenter steals every movie he's in. It's getting to be ridiculous. He stole Ant-Man, he stole The Martian, and he was in a movie with me. I didn't get to do a scene with him. Observe and report. This guy is hilarious. I love him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Michael Pena. Here he comes. Yes! Damn it! Jump it! Get it there! Get it there! Get out of here.
All right, teleprompter time. Every industry has its foundation myths. Aerospace has the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk. Personal computing has Jobs and Woz in the garage. And visual effects has George Lucas founding Industrial Light and You gotta sit down! You gotta sit down, man. You're in front of the teleprompter. You know electronics, don't you? This is your show, dude. He did that in a dirty warehouse in Van Nuys, California. ILM was founded because the technology needed to film Star Wars didn't exist. So it was their job to make the impossible possible. I think most of you know by now, they pulled it off. That's what they've continued to do over and over again in the 40 years since. And in those 4 decades, ILM has added their brand of technological magic to over 300 movies, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Star Trek, Back to the Future, E.T., The Martian. Right? There we go. Ridley, thanks for the job. Ant-Man. And I imagine there are a couple people in here who chose their career because they saw ILM's work in these films. And ILM has always been a perfect mixture of art and technological know-how. Though they've grown from a ragtag group of young college grads to today's premier Hollywood effects company, one thing remains the same. They're still inventing all of this as they go ahead.
Judge me by my size, do you? And where you should not. For my ally is the Force. And a powerful ally it is.
You do have a choice.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the Visual Effects Society, Mike Chambers.
Good evening, everybody. A great crowd, great night. Thanks for all joining us here. When they told me I was going to get to present the award for Outstanding Models, I was really excited. I was wandering around the room, but I couldn't find the Victoria's Secret table. Where is... Once they explained to me what this was, we got digital dinosaurs, we got robots, we've got Mount Everest itself, and frankly, I think those are pretty sexy models too. Your nominees for Outstanding Models in a Photoreal or Animated Project are?
Outstanding Models in a Photoreal or Animated Project. Avengers Age of Ultron Hulkbuster.
All right, everybody, stand down.
Howie Weed, Robert Mironick, Daniel Gonzalez, Miriam Katrine. Jurassic World Indominus Rex. Steve Jubenville, Martin Murphy, Aaron Gray, Kevin Rauter. Star Wars The Force Awakens BB-8. Hey! Joshua Lee, Matthew Denton, Landis Fields, Cyrus Jam. Everest, Mount Everest. Matthias Jarnason, Olfor Hardison, Jarton Hardison, Pitur Arneson.
And the VES award goes to Star Wars, The Force Awakens BB-8.
Thank you. Well, thanks very much to the Visual Effects Society. I feel like I've won the lottery. I feel like we've won the lottery. So just want to say BB-8 was an amazing collaboration between practical effects, which Matt and I did back in Pinewood, and the incredible work of ILM. So I think it was a privilege to work on it, and a real roller coaster ride. So thanks ever so much. Just want to thank J.J. Abrams, obviously, Kathy Kennedy and Tommy Harper for choosing to try and do it practically, and then carry on with the work with ILM. And the incredible work of Neil Scanlon and all the team at Pinewood Studios. So thanks very much. Do you want to collaborate on the speech as well?
Yeah, and thanks to everybody that worked on the show. It was a big deal, and all the families that support everybody in this room. Thank you.
Thank you. Great.